Hi guys, this is Dr. Sadasivam once again with you और हम कुछ current events के बहुत ही important topics आज देखेंगे and this whole presentation will be in English and I will be putting up a version in Hindi also, right? Basically current events for aspirants who are preparing for the IAS IPS mains examination, guys. Okay, so today we will be covering 5 important points. The first one will be about Gas Authority of India's agreement with certain gas companies in Russia. Typically we will be talking about a company called as PROM, right? Why is it important? Because that will be kind of a rupee ruble trade, and in a situation where the current account deficits are very high, this deal will definitely help in maintaining the stability of our Indian currency. That's number one. Second, we will be talking about rollout of 5G and some of the government's initiatives in terms of making it faster and some kind of a industry friendly atmosphere. We're going to talk about that. And thirdly, we will be talking about the PLI scheme on the telecom sector. And fourth, we will be talking about some of the macroeconomic indicators which are very important, especially in the month of August. And then we will be talking about FII, foreign institutional investors and foreign portfolio investors, what they have done in the last 1 or 2 months, because a lot of money had gone out of the country, and one of the reasons for current account deficit, apart from increase in crude oil prices, is also the fact that FIIs have pulled a lot of money from the system and they are coming back. We will be talking about that, and then we will also be talking about net carbon emissions, which is one of the most important oft discussed subject. Okay, we will be talking about all that. Okay ji? Very important. So first we will be talking about Gas Authority of India. GAIL, which is the Gas Authority of India Limited, is in talks with the Russia's gas company. Name of that company is Gazprom. We have been talking a lot about rupee ruble trade, especially in the light of the current account deficits going up, and a lot of initiatives are being taken by the government of India to maintain the stability of Indian rupee against the dollar. It is expected that the costs will probably go down, gas costs I mean, and Russia has some surplus gas, especially in the context of their exports to Europe coming down as a result of imposed sanctions. So what it means to us is it will lower the cost of imported gas, and that is expected to have a positive impact on the domestic gas prices and of course the inflation. Now India and Russia will negotiate a mutually agreed volume amounting to approximately $30 billion by 2025. Currently, I guess it's somewhere around 12 to 13 billion dollars, so it's expected to more than double in the coming years. That is 1 or 2 years, maybe 3 years. Very important. Guy, a lot is being talked about 5G in the country. 5G is a very important technology, and it's expected to play a very important role in ensuring digital India. Now the government has made some amendments in the right of way. It is expected that it will make it a lot easier for the telecom companies to set up towers and other optic fiber network, etc. All that is being done in order to facilitate faster and quick deployment of 5G. Guys, the 5G services are expected to be launched in the month of October, and they will be scaled up very fast. In fact, out of the total 3 lakh crore investment in 5G, 60,000 crores have already come. The minister Vaishnav, he has clearly made a statement and he has confirmed that recently in an interview in CNBC. So I think there will be a special portal which will be called as Gati Shakti Sanchar portal, and that will work as a single operating window which will facilitate ROW, which is right of way clearances. Now the telecom companies can set up their own towers and optic fiber on the street furniture with minimum charges, and every time, you know, they get through all these bureaucratic delays, etc., red tapeism, I don't know what, files get stuck here and that. So just to avoid that, those companies do not need any nod from the authorities for digging holes, putting up poles, etc., etc. And some of these etc., you know, prices have been rationalized, and I must say it's one of the excellent steps taken by the government of India towards rollout of 5G, which is going to help all the consumers, and it's expected to create a revolution in the journey towards 100% digital India, guys. Okay, third is there is a news on production linked incentives in telecom sector, and I've already put up a detailed video on PLI scheme and what it does for the sector, your Atmanirbhar, local jobs, local industry, and how it contributes to so many things in a big way. So please subscribe to Dr. Sadasivam's Academy and look for this particular video which has already been put. So what is important from today's newspaper is, I would like to give you a small background of what the scheme is. The scheme for telecom equipment and manufacturing with an outlay of approximately 12,000 crores is spread over 5 years. You know, this was announced in October of last year, and in fact a total of approximately 31 companies comprising of approximately 16 MSMEs, 15 non-MSMEs, including 8 domestic and 7 global companies. They were given approval last year. Now, 26 applications have been received, fresh applications since today morning, and those include Samsung also, guys. We will talk about it, for the new telecom equipment design production linked incentive scheme. In fact, out of this 26 companies, 14 companies have applied for the second leg of telecom PLI, while 12 applications have been received for the new design linked manufacturing. So Samsung is a new entrant. So typically what it does is, government offers certain subsidies to telecom companies to scale up their operations, and the second objective is to make India the manufacturing hub of the world. So the government of India will initiate steps to ensure that the right economies of scale are achieved to make the prices globally competitive. And apart from that, you know, it's an incentive from the government to promote this industry, and this will go a very long way towards protecting our domestic industries and also to achieve technical capabilities, guys, because you will not be able to scale up your operations and become competitive at the global level, both in terms of your product offerings and also financial capability, unless you develop these facilities within the country. A lot of money is required, very capital intensive, and therefore in order to make it more price competitive, government is doling out incentives. Of course, for the initial period of 5 years, till which point of time it is expected, presumed, that the companies will go from strength to strength and they will achieve certain threshold levels, and without any subsidies, they will keep the job going. That's the whole objective, guys. Now about the macroeconomic situation of the country. The GDP rose to 20% during the Q1 of financial year 2022 against 4.1% during Q4 of last year. It is also expected that the Indian economy is likely to grow by 15% in Q1 of financial year 23, aided by a very favorable base and revival effect. and all restrictions of COVID have been removed, and these will continue to be some of the key drivers. So those key drivers to ensure that we maintain this growth, they are important. Second is your railway freight, GST, e-way bills, corporate goals. All these are growth drivers which are very important. 20% is the expected growth in your hotel, trade, communication. Higher corporate travels are taking place, lockdowns are easing, vax drives, vaccination boosters, they have been very successful. Capex, your private capex, government's investment on infrastructure, all this will provide the much needed boost for the macroeconomic in the days to come. So things are looking very optimistic, guys. But at the same time, we cannot be oblivious to some of the realities which are facing us, because look at some of those uncertainties. There are multiple risks, guys. Russia-Ukraine war is far from over. We are still not out of the woods. China-Taiwan problems are brewing. There may be demand destruction with India's key trading partners, US, EU, China, etc. There is an uncertain global environment, a geopolitical situation at various parts of the globe, inflation and monetary tightening, balance sheet contractions, they all might dent your demand, and some of these are ahead of us, and we are still not out of the woods, and we need to keep an eye on all these. And there are certain drags on growth also. We've already talked about Russia-Ukraine war. The commodity prices, of course, have cooled down compared to how it was a year back. But if you compare it 2 years back, pre-COVID, we are still on the higher side, guys, putting pressure on input prices. Second heat wave is putting, affecting wheat output, and probably because government is also putting some restrictions on export. It is also expected farm growth will slip to 3% from 4% in Q4. Exports are slightly slowing, which might impact the industry. Interest rates are going up. There is a high inflation. Today, guys are meeting in Jackson Hole. I will be putting up another video. And your current account deficit is a problem. Rupee is weakening. But one can be happy about the fact that we have maintained the strength in comparison to other Asian currencies. Our rupee is much stronger compared to the others. But all said and done, it is weakening. That is, of course, nothing to do with Indian macroeconomic conditions, because as a whole, the dollar index is on the increase, and today I guess it's somewhere around 108 or 109, and it's moved up quite a lot, especially in the last few months. Guys, in the earlier videos, we have been talking about how much the FPIs have been taking money out of the country, but now in the last 1 or 2 months, the flows have started coming back. Now, if you look at the FPI's investment in India, more than 70% of its funds are parked in Nifty 50 stocks. And out of those Nifty 50 stocks, there are 10 stocks within the Nifty 50 index. They hold nearly 46% of total FPI money in India. Let me repeat, FPI, which stands for Foreign Portfolio Investors. So as on date, if you look at the total value of FPI investments in the India listed stocks, it is somewhere around $578 billion. Out of this, $265 billion is on 10 Nifty stocks, while the remaining $137 billion are in the remaining 40 Nifty 50 stocks. Remember this, guys. So some of those important companies, you will be interested to know those 10 companies which are there, which hold, FPIs hold more than 46%, guys. We're talking about billions of dollars, 500. Your Reliance, HDFC Bank, ICICI, Infosys, TCS, Kotak Mahindra, even Bharti Airtel, as a matter of fact, it is there. Hindustan Unilever is there in those, and maybe I might have left maybe 1 or 2. So these are some of the important companies in which FPIs have big holdings, and that is why whenever a FPI takes money out from the country, these are the companies which the prices will come down. Remember HDFC Bank. Okay guys, we're going to talk about net carbon emissions. Very important from the perspective of IAS, IPS examination, because a lot is being talked about this, not just in India, but throughout the world. We have had the climate conference and all the world leaders. Remember, Modi Sahab bhi sabko gale laga ke aaye hain. So if you recall, the last year, Modi Sahab announced the country's pledge to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. So taking this forward, guys, Indian Oil, IOC, they are putting all steps in place to ensure that they achieve net zero emissions by 2046, and to ensure that more than 2 lakh crore investments have already been planned. Of course, the other companies, oil marketing companies in India, like your Bharat Petroleum, your Hindustan Petroleum, they have all declared their ambitions to achieve net zero carbon percent by 2040. Guys, why I'm speaking about this is, there may not be any direct questions in IAS or IPS, but whenever there are questions on pollution reduction, climate, environment, net carbon emission becomes a very important topic. And quoting all these initiatives by the government of India, by the Prime Minister, by oil companies will give you a lot of weight, especially in your essay, right? Today there was a beautiful article in the center page of Economic Times, talks about 3 challenges that need to be managed in order to ensure net zero emissions a reality. Authored by Kevin Root, Ban Ki-moon and Arvind Panagria. So I will be putting up a separate video on that. Don't miss to watch that. Subscribe to the channel and watch that video fully. Okay guys, I hope you like this video. These are some of the important current affairs, but otherwise I normally go through 4 or 5 newspapers, Indian Express, I go through Hindu, Times of India, Economic Times, and these are some of the relevant points. Rest are full of advertisements, some vehicle falling down from the bridge, some robbery taking place. 90% of the newspaper is filled with such items, guys. So we are trainers, we know what is important from the exam point of view, from the current affairs point of view, from the interview point of view. So as trainers, as coaches of the academy, we pick and choose certain topics like this, which are extremely important from the exam point of view as well as from the interview point of view. Hope you like this video, guys. And this is Dr. Sadasivam signing off till we meet again. Bye bye. Jai Hind.